Welcome back to Straight Talk No Chaser, where we sip truth and pour it straight. Tonight we're putting the spotlight on something that cuts to the bone, black on black racism, from colorism to classism, from stereotypes to that crabs in a barrel mentality. We're asking the hard questions. How did we get here? Was it slavery, systemic oppression, or cultural conditioning that planted these seeds, and why are they still growing in 2025? And y'all know I never do this alone. The crew is in the house. Madam DeeDee is in the building.
And I'm glad to be here tonight, ready to jump into it. Let's get it started.
So the homeboy, Professor Sheldon T. Nunn is here.
None better, none kinder, none finer than I, seeking the truth so that I can tell you all about it.
Also, we got Miss Debbie is in the building.
I love to give my opinion.
Let's go.
Let's tell.
Let's pour that first round straight facts. Here's the backdrop. During slavery, lighter-skinned enslaved folks were put into house roles. Darker-skinned folks in the fields. That's where colorism roots started. Darker-skinned black men today earn up to 25% less than lighter-skinned men with the same qualifications. Pew Research shows 80% of black adults say colorism is still a major issue inside our own community. On dating apps, black women, especially darker-skinned, face the highest rejection rates of any group. Studies show that kids as young as 5 years old already show skin tone bias when asked to choose dolls. Those ain't just opinions, those are receipts. Panel, what that say to y'all? Miss Debbie, let's go.
Well, I can definitely relate to racism growing up. And I was really judged on being a light-skinned African-American. I always felt like I had to be better, or people didn't like me because I thought that I was that. So I could see that coming from slavery, and not just slavery, from parents, from people in generations. They had to instill that into kids because they shouldn't have had that behavior in junior and senior high school.
Professor.
Well, it goes back to slavery because supposedly there was something called the Willie Lynch syndrome, which is not real or medical or scientific phenomenon, but it's been described mostly as a phrase used to describe a concept of generational psychological enslavement originating during slavery, whereby if you pit one group against the other on a consistent basis, whereby if it had to be, and let's talk about skin color, house versus field. The people who were the field slaves lived in squalor conditions, mud floors, no ventilation, no way to heat, no way to cook. They had to create their own, whereas the house slaves lived a good life. A lot of them were free to move freely within the community. They were not restricted. So that was based upon color. As we have evolved, we've seen a loss of unity and self-respect due to color, due to finance, because now you find black people who have arrived don't want to associate in the neighborhoods that they grew up in. Even though when we grew up in 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, Cashmere Garden, Trinity Garden, we were all in it together. We had our own stores. We had our own movie theaters. We had our own clubs. We had our own cafes, barbecue places where we could feel positive about each other, thereby going to church with one another. We see each other every Sunday at church. All of that has changed due to economics, and now you find that we do discriminate economically against those that have nots. So the haves are now the new house slaves. The have-nots are the field slaves.
Yeah.
Madam DeeDee.
The way I look at it is, just like he was saying, it's mostly about statuses. It's like when they put us up against each other, it's like they damn near putting us in competing against each other.
Right.
And when the competition that come in, you can not even have a problem with anybody. But because society makes you think that this person have a problem with this person is better, you automatically have a competition going, whereas just because you're lighter skinned and I'm dark skinned, it don't make you better than me. Because I can be a dark skinned person and my status and my financial stability can be higher than the light skinned person. But because you're light skinned, you want to put them on the forefront, but put me in the back. And it, like I say, it just goes against where as when people in a situation, I mean, when people in a certain environment, that's what I'm saying, a certain environment that when it come into, I almost feel like I am a slave. I almost feel like I'm in here and you're out there. You didn't even earn that. I've earned it. I have the credentials to be here. You didn't do anything to be here. It's just your color got you here. But I did what I did and paid my way to get here, but I can't even hold it.
But it's a house divided still because
Exactly.
you may move out of your previous neighborhood because you're tired of the crime. But why is the crime greater today than it was once upon a time?
Right.
Because there were hoodlums, crooks, pimps, prostitutes on the street, and you just basically saw them every day but didn't feel threatened by them.
Right.
Now, if you are at a certain income level or socioeconomical status and you go and search, you hear a lot of black people say, man, I ain't going over that. I don't know what's going to happen over there. And
Right.
they grew up in Third
Grew up,
Ward,
yeah.
grew up in Fifth Ward, went to
Yeah.
Wheatley, went to Cashmere Garden. Very comfortable. Now you're uncomfortable with your own people because what? You're afraid now. You have arrived.
Well, I can relate to that. I really can because with the job I have, and it's so much black on black crime.
Right.
And I just don't understand, why do we have to destroy our neighborhoods? Why do we have to wait until Mr. Lewis that we grew up with that loved everybody? Why do we have to, his camera shows 3 young dudes then pushed him down and took $14 from him and broke his hip. So I think it has a lot to do with broken homes, and the mentality is the reason why. Do we move to the suburbs because we don't like dealing with stuff? Absolutely. Do I like to get out of my car and be hustled, or I'm afraid that you're going to take my purse? I shouldn't feel like that. I never had to feel like that. So what happened is we have problems with each other, black on black, but when a police do the same thing that many of African Americans are doing to each other, then we want to protest. We want to walk the streets. But I mean, I don't even understand when they want to burn. Why do you come burn things in our neighborhood? Those people have insurance. So you just gave them a reason to get out because they've been looking at new things, investments. But that is not how you do it. We have to come together and say enough is enough. And we have to say that, first of all, we respect. First of all, if I live next door to you, I should not have tires up against your fence. I just shouldn't do it as a race. So I think it has a lot to do. We have to regain respect, and we have to regain boundaries. What are your boundaries? Why the black on black? Because there are no boundaries. There's no respect. People don't respect their grandmothers. They fight their grandmothers. They curse their grandmothers. Our mamas was not twerking. I'm not saying nothing is wrong with twerking, but we didn't know she was twerking. She probably was twerking, but we didn't see things. So now when we see things, especially young kids, they imitate it. You should be able to go to the ATM machine. I'm scared to go to the ATM machine because how do you know I should be able to go to the ATM machine and not see a group of young men. It don't matter whether they another color, but when they black and they do things to people like that, it bothers me because where's the respect?
But the thing is, what get me is the only time our people can come together in unity when there's a tragedy against us. But we are so against each other. We fight against each other. We take from each other. We hurt each other. We kill each other. But when somebody on the outside do something to one of us, and that's when we all come together.
And we lie on each
Yeah,
other.
they want to come together. They want, like you say, they want to get out and they want to, what do you call it? When they
Protest?
want, they want to protest. They want to get out there. That's the only time they come together.
Right.
But when they out here doing it to each other in front of the stores, fighting in front of each other, or they on the internet disrespecting each other, it's cool. But then when somebody on the outside, then all of a sudden everybody want to rally up. It's no respect on either end.
No respect.
But for the criminals, the only thing they hold near and dear is respect. And when you violate that law, like what just occurred between you and Mike, because you exhibited a lack of respect toward him as a person, and he felt a certain kind of way.
It was an example.
But he felt the need to react to that because the first thing he did was look at you kind of crazy.
Because his feelings is valid.
Exactly.
His feelings is valid.
So these kind of things escalate, but guess what? There's such a thing as collateral damage. You
Right.
know, we damage ourselves, whereby there's so much damage in our community that law enforcement now just kind of blows it off. Look at the difference between a young black girl getting murdered and a sweet snowflake getting murdered. How quickly is that crime solved versus how quickly? Because that was a situation some years ago where a young lady came up missing and law enforcement just gave up.
Yeah.
The Lord Parker and his group went looking for her and found her rolled up in a carpet over near the Astrodome.
Yeah, I remember
So, you know, oftentimes, unless we go looking for one another, law enforcement just says, hey, somebody did our job for us.
Right.
Right.
So we don't respect each other, which means what? It leads to genocide. There's a certain degree of genocide going on in our community. How you turn it around, you got to put the father back in the household. You got to put leadership, mentorship, respect back into the mix. Until you do that, we're going to see it get only worse.
Morals and values have not been instilled to a certain extent. People don't even believe in them. They just care to do. The thing is, I'm going to do what I want to do. Nobody can tell me anything. And if I feel comfortable in doing this my way, and this would make me feel good about it, I'm going to do it. It can be wrong, and you still want to do it because you feel like that's what's cool. If you'll step on people, you'll hurt people, you'll betray people just to do what you want to do just to make yourself satisfied, and that's another problem, too.
Right.
And that brings us to the raw, unfiltered truth, our no chaser moment. Here's the truth. Black on black racism didn't start with us, but we keep passing it down. When families call dark-skinned kids tar baby or clown someone for talking white, that's not just jokes, that's trauma disguised as humor. And it leaves scars that last decades. And since culture's part of the cycle, let's break it down with our culture sip. Pop culture keeps pouring gas on the fire, Hollywood casting light-skinned leads and darker-skinned folks as sidekicks or villains. Hip-hop glorifying foreign women over black women, social media pushing skin tone wars weekly, and those videos rack up millions of views. Panel, is culture reflecting reality or infecting it?
Infecting it.
Infecting it.
Definitely.
It's infecting it.
Definitely infecting it.
But, and you know, when you think about it, and I look at it, because I do like hip hop and rap, I do like it. I don't like all of it, but I do like it because it's really what's happening today, and I do have a younger generation that is around me. But when I look at those videos, you're absolutely right. Those girls in there are now, they're mixed, because, you know, when you talk to people now, and I have never heard so many people say, I'm mixed. I mean, what is that?
I'm part Cherokee.
I'm French and Thai, and I mean, and I think that society is showing them that there's some value in saying that. So yeah, I think it has a.
But we're all Heinz 57. 57 different varieties of somebody is in all of us. And we don't know our family tree, less known our family history. So we can only go back so far as to see who our real ancestors are. So I honestly believe we in America are mixed with something by virtue of slavery. And the only true Africans are those individuals who I believe were born in Africa,
Right.
and have roots in Africa. We, as a result of slavery, have evolved, and some of us, if you look back, because I look at my family tree, most of my family members on my father's side are of a darker hue. However, they had brothers. My grandfather had brothers and sisters who were a lighter hue. And you say, wow, how did that happen? That just shows that we're all mixed. So
Yeah.
none of us are purity of anything.
Right.
You know, we just want to believe that because we are of a particular culture, that puts us all in the same bowl together, and we can choose to get out and get in anytime it's okay.
But where do we get to the point to where we break the cycle?
The cycle is having respect for each other,
That's
because
it.
remember that, you know, think about girls growing up, good hair versus bad hair.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't wait to reach, girls couldn't wait to become teenagers so they could get perms, because they wanted to have good hair. And the only way to get good hair, if you had nappy hair, was to get a perm. Light-skinned girls, they just shake their heads. They've been
Wash
shaking
it.
their head a long time, you know, blow drying it, combing it out. But guess what? Young girls are getting perms at much younger age. You find girls getting perms now at 5 and 6 years old.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Well, you
right.
still do they baby's hair, and I
Right.
haven't figured out what is the purpose of. I think that when kids are little, you have the opportunity to watch, grease, grow.
Yeah.
I don't think that you should just try to
It's too
make
hard on it.
so hard on
Yeah.
them. But I think it's because, first of all, we have to be comfortable in who we are and when we say things. And one thing I learned, like, if Mike would have said that I was a maid, I wouldn't have gotten offended. I just wouldn't have gotten offended.
So we just not gonna let it go.
No, but no, I'm saying this. I could see how conflict. No, listen. I could see how conflict starts in the community. It don't have to be
misunderstanding.
nothing
Yeah,
big
yeah, it can be a
that make us
misunderstanding.
go against. DeeDee could move her stuff over there. Madam D do it. She's not saying I'm a thief. I'm gonna tell you what we have to do. Because DeeDee is quiet today, Madam D, it doesn't mean that she has a problem with me. I shouldn't go tell you, oh, Madam D acting funny, because that is what we do as people.
Yeah.
Because you could be dealing with something, but it doesn't mean that you have a problem.
Right.
Or she could say, oh, you know, I really did like that dress. I wonder how it looked when green. Well, when it gets back, it's not going to be there. So we have to learn as a race of people, where do we start to uplift? Where do we start to say, it's okay? Where do we say, we're going to get together and we're going to adopt neighborhoods and clean them up, especially where elderly people live? So the reason why racism is so big amongst blacks, because you know what? What's the word? I don't want to live over there by them. But
No.
it's not true. Those are our people. We have to live by them. We have to live with them. Because if the police or something happened to them, we all get T-shirts, banners, and we march.
But there
But
was
it-
a, there
But
was
they
a
make
time.
it so hard.
But
They
there
make
was
it
a
so
time when
hard
you
now.
got shot. There was a
Yeah.
time when somebody got shot. The whole community
We'll come together.
would come
We'll
together. Now you hear about shootings and you just kind of duck.
Yeah, you
So
go
what
on.
makes it
You
hard,
get secluded.
Madam D? What makes
What I'm
you
saying now, it's like when you say you, like I was born and raised in Fifth Ward.
Me
And
too.
not trying, I do not go out there. I don't party out there. I don't even go down the street I used to live on. I don't.
Why?
And it has, from the time when I lived out there to now, the crime rate is ridiculous out there. People, it's just, the younger generation is not nothing like when I was out there. Well, my grandmother them left their door open, or if the next door neighbors did something, my grandmother was able to discipline them without any repercussions behind it, or saying something to somebody's kid or disciplining their kid. Now you say something to somebody's kid, you either gonna end up fighting, dead, or in jail or something, because nobody has an understanding and nobody wants anybody to say anything to their kids. And the thing is, the way everything is now, I mean, I want to be a part of it, but I can't be a part of it. I want to be here, but they make it so hard because of what they're doing, their actions, that it's ridiculous. They're violent. They're disrespectful. This generation feels entitled. They don't want to do nothing. They know everything. You can't tell them nothing. So it becomes a problem with us, older, trying to at least guide them and just try to show them. They feel like we know too much. We can't tell them nothing because what they're doing. If we didn't even experience or go through it, go through what they went through. We went down the path too. Actually, our path was rougher than theirs.
It was.
And they don't even understand.
But you had what? You had parents in place that didn't let you step too far away from the line.
Yeah.
You could not cuss anybody
Better not get mad at your
that
mama and
was
say
that was
something.
your uncle, aunt, mama.
Better not roll
daddy.
your eyes. Better not breathe too hard.
Exactly. You better not walk away at
Yeah,
a certain.
yeah.
You
Better
can't
not
grunt.
snatch.
You can't
Exactly.
grunt. You can't stomp your
so
feet.
instead of being friends with you, they were parents
Right.
for you.
Right.
Even though they loved you.
Right.
They loved you enough to protect you, because what they were trying to do at that time was to protect you from what was going on outside the community.
Exactly.
And see, back then I didn't mind Deborah coming over to my house and asking for 2 eggs because her check was short.
Or a cup of
But
sugar.
now you can't do that, because guess what? Today she asked for 2 eggs. Next week she want a whole dozen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So the culture has shifted.
Yeah.
It has caused people to start,
Yeah.
moving away
A
from
division,
the
yeah.
hoods.
Yeah,
So at some point, it goes back to the house. It starts at home.
Right.
Yeah.
We can't keep on passing down what's been going on for generations and generations.
And make
So
it
at some point, we have to start changing the whole trajectory of the whole thing
Exactly.
in order for the neighborhoods to get back safe to where we feel safe staying in them.
But nobody's willing to do that.
No,
So,
nobody's not going to put in the
Yeah.
work.
Nobody willing to
So
do it. It's too much work.
I was on the freeway. This is a true story, and I didn't know those people blocked the line, blocked the freeway, and they be in their cars doing all these. I said, why would someone do that? I mean, we see their cars; they're nice. They could just get in a straight line, because we used to go to McGregor Park back in the days
And it was
and
bad.
park on the side,
Right.
and they
And just
came
park.
through in those same cars, but they did not do that. And I really think that listening to Madam D and Sheldon and Mike talk, it's all about we just don't want to deal with it. But we can't really turn our backs. We have to say, what can we do to make a difference?
But it takes unity. It takes togetherness. I mean, you want to try to do it, but it's hard for one person to do. And that's just like getting in a ring and boxing by yourself. It does no good to fight if you don't have nobody to fight with.
Well, number one, we need to start looking at who we choosing to hold these positions as officials in the city.
Right.
Who we choosing as legislators.
Right.
Who we choosing as representatives, because part of their job is to protect the neighborhoods.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you don't have their support, nothing's gonna change. It's gonna keep on being what it
The
is.
people not gonna do what they do when you done went and voted for these people and got these people in here, because they didn't told us and misled us, telling us what they was gonna do. Then when they get in there, they don't do anything. They're just there. So then you want to leave it on the people. No, it's not left on us. We voted to get you where you at, to do what you have to do to get us there. We can come behind you and help you, but it's not our sole responsibility. Because even with us trying to go out there and do it, and you got a job to do, and you got the platform, that you don't even do anything. It's just like you just sitting there.
Yeah.
And while culture is loud, the people living it are louder. Let's head into our DM dive. DM from Charlotte. Growing up, my own family called me Midnight. My lighter-skinned cousins got praised. I got jokes. Even now, in dating and work, I still feel less than. Sheldon T.
When I was growing up, if you called somebody a black anything.
Got hit in the mouth.
You got hit in the mouth, or it was going to be a fight. And we, or you called them a black nappy head, whatever. That was really a fight. So the mere fact that skin color has always played a role. You think you're better than me because you're bright. You know, if you talk a particular way, you're just trying to be white. If you wear your hair a certain kind of way, it's nappy. Well, guess what? If we grow up stigmatized by those type of negative responses that are around you every day, you're going to grow up feeling a certain kind of way. You know, I went to Jack Yates. Jack Yates was a yellow factory. Most of the girls who were there, you know, had special privileges. They could be a cheerleader, they could be a majorette, they could be in the right clubs. But the end result is it set up a stigma whereby people who graduated 40, 50, 60 years ago are still mad because of the way they were treated because of the color of their skin.
Right.
And that goes back to house versus field. It didn't say all of the house slaves were privileged. It just says that the majority of the opinions were house slaves had it easy because some of them look light, bright, almost white, blue-eyed, green-eyed. We've seen, and that's why I don't understand kind of deviating brothers who go outside their race, because we got the blackest of black and the lightest of light. We got a whole rainbow of spectrums, but the skin color always plays a role in how we view things, which means what? Now you hear girls saying, I don't want no black baby. I want to have babies outside my race because I want a pretty baby.
Madam DeeDee.
From the DM, when a lady was saying they called her midnight, and she had to deal with that when she was younger, it's kind of crazy. Like we said, it causes division when you're young because you done took these other kids in here, and it made me feel like that I was nobody because of my skin. She didn't have no control of that. She didn't have no control of her skin color. That's just how she was born. But it's like they pitted them against each other, whether people know it or not. And you grow up with the animosity toward light-skinned people. She probably would have loved and respected lighter-skinned people, but she got a problem with them now because in her family, they made it a problem. Mm-hmm. They made her feel like she was the bottom of the totem pole, and you want to make them bigger than me, but they were all the same. They were children. They were all the same. They was just different skin shades. So it causes a problem as you grow up older, and that's where when we say insecurities come in and the low self-esteem, because this was instilled in me when I was younger. This is what you did to me, and it started at home. It didn't even come from the streets. It started at home. And when it started at home, what you gonna do when you go out in the street? I mean, I already feel this way. My own family and already beat me down. So why am I gonna feel like I'm any more when I'm out here?
Real quick, Miss Debbie.
Well, I mean, the problem is real because, like, people still play the games with their children. They still say, bring your black self here, sit down with your ugly self. I mean, that is still going on. So it definitely needs to change.
But society, not to cut you off, sorry, because
Okay,
I just thought about something.
Jump in.
All things black, white America embraces. Remember the movie 10 and the lady with the braids and before that girls had been wearing braids.
Oh, Bo Derek,
black girls had been wearing braids, but it was called plaits.
Yeah.
Back then.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Remember stretch pants. Used to be something called pedal pushers.
Uh-huh.
You know, so all things that were relevant in the black community, white America has just embraced.
Yeah, they embraced
hip-hop music.
Yeah.
You know, R&B music, blues music, things that we found relief in that we now look our noses down upon. White America has embraced it and turned it into what? A multi-billion-dollar enterprise.
Yeah.
So the lack of respect that we have for ourselves, we could have the multi-billion-dollar enterprise, but what? Because
Confusion.
of this dissatisfaction, because of disrespect, because of the skin game, we're now against each other.
Yeah, it's a disconnect.
This is why this cycle continues, because the wounds get normalized instead of addressed. And that's why we close with the last shot. Black on black racism didn't start with us, but it's still alive because we keep feeding it. Every time we crown one shade and clown another, every time we divide by class, speech, or status, we're doing the work of oppression for them. Healing starts when we stop competing and start completing each other. And guess what? We're out.
You're out.
Out.